So I always show them and I disclose my finances, even tax return if necessary, that I have what it takes. I have money allocated to finish that project no matter what. Okay, so you are safe. And then I show also contingencies. I show what if goes wrong. Okay, so before I accept any dime from anybody, I want to make sure that I have already at least 40% of the units sold. At least that, because the 40% of the units will cover the entire cost of the building.
Wow.
It will cover everything. So
Yeah.
if I already have contracts for 40%, it will cover, because the rest goes into taxes, marketing, real estate commission, permits, legal. About 20% of the entire expenses for a building goes into those little things that you don't think about.
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hey folks, welcome back to the show. Today's guest is an investor based in New York, investing internationally in Brazilian real estate, in really large villas, condos, and housing, and really addressing the shortage of housing out in Brazil. Please welcome Lukas Swid. Lukas, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Dylan. Pleasure to be here.
I always like to start off at the top of the show by asking folks how they got into real estate, but you're in a particular niche that probably not a whole lot of US-based real estate investors will venture into, which is international real estate, and then addressing housing shortages internationally. How did you get into that space?
Yeah, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I founded a lot of businesses, and I've done businesses in 29 countries and counting. And I was driven by a demand that was unmet. And even though it was met somehow, it was not really nicely done. The products being offered weren't great. So I moved by demand. I tried to identify a market where there is a demand for something, and that's where I go laser focused on.
You mentioned before hopping onto the podcast here that there's really a range of asset classes that you will be looking at building and have built in Brazil, from larger homes to condos, townhomes. When you were doing your first project out in Brazil, what was the first deal like?
Yeah, I didn't want to go into a real estate buying, flipping homes. I wanted to be a real estate developer, even though I didn't know anything at all about real estate. I didn't know anything at all about construction. I didn't know anything at all about the whole process, but I knew that there was a demand for housing. And that's where I started. I did a little research. I validated the information that I was given. And then I decided to go slow and small. I picked a small land lot and I built a small 10-unit condo.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
Small apartment building. And I figured if it goes badly, it's not too much to lose. And it's an experience. I learned something. It was a good way to validate what I was told, but also if I was able to do it the right way, correctly, if I was able to manage that risk. So I did that. It was a small place. I did 6 months of studying, researching, making sure that I knew what I didn't know. And I hired people to fulfill those roles. My experience has been in managing people, managing P&Ls, not in construction or real estate development. So I hired a part-time engineer, a part-time architect, an interior designer, a site manager, and we went for it. Very small, but I was surprised because within about 2 months within construction, it was sold out, completely sold out.
So what was the timeline for, let's say, from hiring the contractors to completion of the project? I'm imagining it wasn't 2 months. What was the total timeline to complete that first deal?
To hire everybody, a lot of vetting. When you go into a place like Brazil or India or Indonesia, in a lot of places that things are a bit different. They're very bureaucratic. And whatever there is bureaucracy, there is corruption. Everybody claims to know everything there is to know about everything. So you got to make sure you hire the right people. Between the hiring process, selecting the right team, and completing construction was 18 months.
You know, this is interesting. I live in a Latin country. I live in the Dominican Republic. And one of the things I've noticed about real estate out here that doesn't exist as much in the States, that I believe you can attest to this as well, Lucas, there will be apartment complexes, condos that may take a 18-month, 2-year time frame to build, but they'll sell out very quickly, and it's very common. In the U.S., I think people have maybe a level of trepidation, of concern about buying a apartment before it's built. But it's so commonplace out here that I've even spoken with some locals who are involved in the space, and they tell me it's very common for builds to sell out before completion. Now, when you went about this, were you shocked to find that was the case, or were you prepared that it would sell out very quickly?
I was expecting the worst, and I was ready for it. I was ready for the worst. Let's say if it takes a couple of years to sell, it's not a good deal, but it's something that I can at very least recover what I invested. So I was surprised, but I knew it validated the information. I did a lot of research. I advise everybody, if you go into any market, do your research first. You don't have to know everything about that market, but you have to do your research first. So it validated it. I was very happily surprised that it sold so fast. It took a little longer almost to get the permits than to sell the units.
I believe it. Were all of those units in that first deal, were all of those to sell? Were any of them rented out, or are they all to sell?
All to sell. I like to turn things around quickly. I like to rotate inventory very quickly. And also Brazil is a very risky country, right?
Yeah.
So you have to have a hedge. You have to make sure that your exposure is manageable. Having something to rent, I didn't want to do it because for you to get somebody out of the house is very difficult. It's almost impossible. So once you rent something, and if they don't pay you, you have to go to courts and courts and courts, and it could take years for them to leave your house. So it was a risk I was not ready to get involved with, very messy. So I figured I'm going to just build, sell, build, and sell.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency. It's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more. and schedule a call with our team today.
I want to ask you some granular questions. Maybe give away some of the gold here, Lucas, but not all of it. Which city or cities are you building in Brazil?
I'm building in 2 states. One is Pernambuco, Recife is called, and the other is in Minas, close to Belo Horizonte. So 2 states. They're very, very different states culturally, nationally. Recife, Pernambuco is more, it's a low income state. Minas is a high income state. So in Pernambuco, there is a high demand for lower income housing. So we focus on lower income housing, but very high quality product, great finishes, great design. Sometimes a great design doesn't have to cost too much. Okay,
Right.
it just tastes sometimes. It's picking the right colors, the right finishes. You spend maybe a couple of bucks more on a tile, but it looks better and it doesn't make a big difference in your pocket. So in that state, we do more low income housing. And in Minas, we do higher income housing. We built a mansion, 7,000 square feet mansion 3 years ago, and we sold it in about 3 months. And it was an amazing ROI, like 50%.
Wow. I want to ask you a follow-up question based on that, which is a lot of folks, even in the US, may have difficulty investing across, state lines, let alone international borders. You mentioned these 2 different areas of Brazil. Have you personally been to both areas, and how did you scout out these areas? Or if you haven't been there, what's your process for identifying the area?
Yeah, you have to really rely on local people for those things. And you have to try to find somebody who you can trust but verify you. So in Minas, I knew somebody who lived there and who had been looking for a house and couldn't find a house. And the houses that he found, they were not to his liking. He wanted to build something from scratch. So I said, you know what? I'll build it for you. Okay, this is the price. So, and then he changed his mind after I had already started the project. But I pushed forward, and in about 3 months later, the house was sold. Right. But I try to always listen. I listen to people, what they say. If they know I'm in real estate, and somebody's always prone to telling you something that's related to real estate. So if they say, oh, well, there is this place in Brazil that is a big demand, there's not enough houses or whatever, I try to validate that information, try to verify it. There are ways to do that. You call people, you hire people to do a little survey locally to make sure that the information is correct. So I always try to rely on people, local people who know that specific market, but I find ways to verify the information. You have to lean on people who know better than you, but you have to verify.
I want to pivot on that point about trusting and verifying, really, and ask you about the other side of the business, which is, the capital portion of it. I think for folks who are looking at these projects of this scale, it's difficult to do on your own. I know you have investor capital. We were talking about that before the show here. Raising capital in the real estate space is an interesting endeavor, and sometimes people feel like it's both an art form and a skill and a little bit of both. What's been your approach to capital raising for these deals in Brazil?
Well, I think if you want to try to get people's money, first of all, you can't be desperate for it. If you're desperate, if I sense that you're desperate, I don't want to do any business with you. So I think people are the same way. And I think if you're going to try to get somebody's money into your company, your venture, your startup, you have to show, first of all, it's a great product.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
There is a lot of demand for it. You have the capability to deliver, but that you also have a lot of skin in the game. So I have to do my homework and a little presentation and show people that there is a demand. Here you can verify this, and that. I show them that we have a great product. The land lot is in a great location. It's a desirable location. It's a place where people want to live. Okay. And then I show them that I have the funds to fund most of the project. So you can't expect to get somebody from overseas to invest into a company in a foreign country or even across the state line.
Yeah.
They don't see that you have what it takes to finish that product. Okay. What if I invest my money and you don't have the money to finish it? Right. You hear a lot of things, you can do this or that without any money at all out of pocket. You can't. It's very difficult and very risky for yourself and for the people who are going to invest in your ideas, in your promise. So I always show them and I disclose my finances, even tax return if necessary, that I have what it takes. I have money allocated to finish that project no matter what. Okay, so you are safe. And then I show also contingencies. I show what if goes wrong. Okay, so before I accept any dime from anybody, I want to make sure that I have already at least 40% of the units sold. At least that, because the 40% of the units will cover the entire cost of the building.
Wow.
It'll cover everything. So
Yeah.
if I already have contracts for 40%, it will cover because the rest goes into taxes, marketing, real estate commission, permits, legal. About 20% of the entire expenses for a building goes into those little things that you don't think about. So 40% is construction, is hard work, is the land lot, all of that. And 20% is typically those types of variables. And then 40% is ROI.
Lukas, we are coming up on time here. Where can folks go if maybe they're interested in looking at some of the deals you have going on, or they'd like to reach out to you and connect with you about Brazilian real estate?
Great. They can go into 1212, like Manhattan area code, 1212capitalpartners.com, and it lists my portfolio of companies in there.
Lukas, thank you so much for coming on the show here today.
Thanks talking to you. Great talking to you. Take care.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.